everyone. My name is Elizabeth Lyde-Cajuste. I am currently a graduate student at Maryland University of Integrative Health studying clinical human nutrition. It's great to be here with you today, and thank you all so much for joining. Today's cooking demo is going to be focused on feeding your fertility. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. I know many people actually who are struggling with fertility or are just starting to think about their preconception journey and getting to that stage in life where they're thinking about expanding their family, myself included. And I just went through this stage, and please excuse the candy in my mouth. I'm actually going through pretty severe morning sickness right now in my first trimester of pregnancy, so exciting time, but makes me a little extra sensitive to food. I don't think nutrition and food storage are talked about enough in the preconception journey, so I wanted to create this demo as a resource for people to begin to learn more. Before we get started today, do you know anyone who has struggled with fertility or who is just starting to think about growing their family? I'm getting a lot of head nods from the audience. That's great. I'm so glad that you're here and willing to learn more on how diet and nutrition can support you on your journey. Today, I will share 2 recipes that are packed with fertility boosting foods. The first recipe will be a crustless spinach cheese quiche, and the second recipe will be a warm salmon kale salad topped with homemade balsamic vinaigrette. As we move along in the demo, I'll share more about each of the ingredients and the benefits for your fertility. Please hold any questions that you have until the end, and we'll address all of them together. After we cook and plate our recipes, I will cover a few ways that you can avoid unnecessary environmental toxins related with food storage that can interfere with reproduction and make getting pregnant much more challenging. Food storage containers can be a sneaky culprit to infertility. And I want to make sure that you have the tools to avoid those harmful chemicals as much as possible. So let's jump right in. First, we'll prep our salmon and get that into the oven because it will take about 15 minutes to cook. So here I have a piece of salmon. I'm going to season with salt, pepper. I've already added a little cayenne because I personally like a little bit of spicy. And then I'm also going to top with 2 lemon slices. So in the bottom of my glass dish, I've added just a little bit of avocado oil, about a tablespoon or so. I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of salt on top. And next I'm going to go in with my pepper. And then finally I'm going to add 2 lemon slices. I like my salmon extra lemony. And just like that, we're gonna place this into the oven for about 12 to 15 minutes until our salmon turns opaque and flaky. So we'll keep an eye on the clock for about 12 minutes. It's currently 1:37, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Now that the salmon's baking, let's get to work on our quiche. So in a skillet, we're gonna add 1 to 2 tablespoons of avocado oil and sliced onion. I have sliced onion here at the stovetop already. So I'm gonna take 1 to 2 tablespoons of olive oil and add it to my skillet. I'm gonna turn on my stovetop here, and I'm just gonna go for some medium heat. And I'm gonna add in my onion. Today I'm just using a half of an onion. You're welcome to use 1 whole onion or a half, depending on preference. And then that's gonna start to simmer on top of the stovetop. We're looking for the onion to start to turn translucent and a little bit soft. Here in just a moment, we'll add in our spinach. So for today's crustless quiche, I decided to use frozen spinach. I went ahead and thawed it and then just drained off the excess moisture. So this is about 10 ounces of spinach that's been chopped, thawed, and drained in a bowl. And we'll get that added into our skillet here shortly. So I'm just gonna scoop all of this into the skillet. so that this can start to cook together. I'm going to turn up the heat just a little bit because this is a smaller burner. And while that's going, I went ahead and I took a glass dish, it's about a 9-inch baking dish, and I coated it with avocado oil. And I cracked 6 pasture-raised organic eggs into my dish here. I'm also going to add about a cup and a half of my favorite sharp cheddar cheese. So I'll mix that in. We're gonna come back over to our spinach and just give that a stir while everything's starting to heat together. Just giving everything a big stir so that it can all be incorporated and starts to cook evenly. I'm going to come back over to my dish with our eggs and cheese, and I'm going to start to mix those together, breaking up the yolks. And once that's pretty well combined, I'm going to add about a teaspoon of salt. And about half a teaspoon of black pepper to taste. So the reason I'm using avocado oil today is it's considered an anti-inflammatory oil and has a high cook point, so meaning it won't turn rancid when cooked at a high temperature. It's better than alternative, it's a great alternative versus seed oils or things like canola oil. Given canola oil can cause inflammation in the body and hurt egg and sperm quality. Eggs, I didn't know this until actually very recently, but eggs are a superfood when it comes to getting pregnant and pregnancy. Not only are they a great source of protein, but they're also full of vitamins and minerals, commonly lacking in the prenatal diet. Egg yolks are very rich in choline, a relative of B vitamins, and choline helps normal brain development and helps to prevent neural tube defects similar to folate very early on in pregnancy. So give this a good stir. And then we'll come back over to our spinach and onions. We're almost there. This doesn't take too long to cook. Like I said, we're just starting to look for the onions to turn a little bit of a translucent color. Heat back down just slightly. Cheese and other full-fat dairy is a great thing to incorporate as you're thinking about a fertility or preconception diet. And there's strong research that shows full-fat dairy improves fertility, and low-fat dairy can contribute to infertility. It is a good source of calcium. And the fat helps to maintain energy levels and blood sugar. So while this is finishing, take this off the heat, grab my spoon, and then we're going to incorporate the onions and spinach mixture into the eggs and cheese. So leafy greens are a great source of folate, which is needed very early on in pregnancy. Leafy greens are also full of antioxidants and other beneficial nutrients needed to support sperm and egg quality. So the more leafy greens that you can incorporate into your diet, the better. So now that the eggs, spinach and cheese and onions have all been added together, I'm gonna give this a good stir. And then this is going to go into the oven for about 30 to 45 minutes until it's cooked all the way through. A good tip here as it's cooking is let it cook for 30 minutes and then take a fork and just poke the top and see if it's still runny on the top, and if it is, give it a few more minutes. So now that that has all been incorporated, I'm gonna put this into the oven and we'll start with 30 minutes. Moving on now to our warm kale salad, I'm gonna come back over to the oven, or to the stovetop here, and we're gonna saute up our kale. As I mentioned, leafy greens are a great food to incorporate into a fertility promoting diet. I'm gonna turn the stovetop onto a medium heat, and I'm gonna add about a tablespoon of avocado oil. And then in my skillet, I'm going to add my pre-washed organic kale. So this is about 10 ounces of kale. That's gonna go into my skillet, and we're just gonna let that soften up. As I noted, spinach and other dark leafy greens are some of the most abundant sources of folate. Folate impacts egg quality because it's important for making new DNA and protein, as well as the detoxification in the body. Dark leafy greens like spinach and kale also contain vitamin C, beta carotene, fiber, and many B vitamins and trace minerals. So as I mentioned, upping your leafy greens can really help promote fertility both in males and females. So we've added our kale into the skillet, so we'll let that soften up here for just a moment. While that's cooking, I'm going to start on our salad dressing. So making salad dressings at home is an awesome option versus buying store-bought that has a lot of added ingredients like seed oils, natural flavors, and other additives that can really be harming to our health. So for our balsamic vinegar today, I'm going to add 1 cup of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. They really recommend buying a high quality olive oil. Not only is the flavor better, but it's also going to be more nutrient dense. Then after we add 1 cup of olive oil, I'm going to add 4 tablespoons of maple syrup. Four tablespoons of Dijon mustard. A little bit of garlic here, just a pinch or so of fresh garlic. And then we're gonna add 12 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. Before I add in the balsamic vinegar, let's go back to our kale, just to make sure that everything's progressing along fine. I'm gonna grab a pair of tongs and just give this a stir. The kale does not take long to cook at all, so as soon as it starts to wilt, I'm gonna grab just the other piece of lemon that I didn't use for the salmon. I'm gonna bring this back over and then give this a squeeze on top of my kale. If you like it really lemony, go ahead and squeeze the whole lemon on top. If you like it just a little bit lemony, then just add a little bit, about a half. And I'm gonna go ahead and add in the rest of the garlic and give that a good stir. Now that the kale is nice and wilty, I'm going to turn the heat off. I'm gonna bring it back over to my prep station, and I'm actually going to plate it into a bowl. So here's our kale, nice and wilty and incorporated, should be lemony and tasty. Scoop that into the bowl so the garlic doesn't overcook. And I'm gonna sprinkle on just a little bit of salt on the top. Just like that. And we'll set that to the side, and then we're gonna come back to our salad dressing. So I'm gonna take my tablespoon here. We're gonna add 12 tablespoons of balsamic vinegar. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Nice and easy, just like that. And then we're going to give it a little sprinkle of salt and some fresh ground pepper. Salt and pepper are important ingredients to this. It gives it a nice balance of flavor. So just like that. And then I'm gonna seal this jar up, and then we're gonna give the salad dressing a good shake. See how easy that was? Much easier than buying salad dressings from the store. So the salmon should be just about done. I do want to talk about some of the benefits of salmon. So salmon contains a lot of essential omega-3 fatty acids that boost fertility in both men and for women. It boosts selenium, which contributes towards the formation of healthy sperm. And it is one of the best sources of vitamin D that you can get in food. Vitamin D deficiency is associated with an increased risk of infertility, and to my knowledge, I don't think most people know that. So it's always good to take a vitamin D supplement, but incorporate salmon whenever you can. All right, so we have our salad dressing all ready to go. I like to make this about once a week, and then I just store it in my refrigerator. Can keep up to about 2 weeks in the refrigerator if you can keep it in your fridge that long. We tend to go through about a jar a week. So for our warm kale salad, I have a few toppings. You're welcome to add any kind of toppings that you'd like. For our kale salad today, I'm going to add some pumpkin seeds. Pumpkin seeds contain high amounts of zinc, and zinc is a key mineral for sperm production and function and helps support healthy testosterone. It makes them essential for male fertility. So guys, make sure you're incorporating those pumpkin seeds and as much zinc as you can into your diet. And then I'm also gonna add some raisins. These are just organic, unsweetened raisins. I think the sweet gives the tangy kale and a little bit bitter kale a nice flavor and complement to the dish. And then you're also welcome to add in things like avocado. Avocados are a great source of fats. They're a monosaturated fatty acid, and they've been associated with promoting regular ovulation and improving fertility. I unfortunately don't have any avocado with me today, but normally on a good grocery week, that would be something that I would add to the top. And then raisins, as I noted, we added in here. Raisins are a great source of iron, potassium, and antioxidants. So I'm gonna go ahead and check the salmon. It should be just about done here, so we'll get that out. Yep, all finished, looking delicious. So I'm going to grab my tongs that I used before, and I'm going to remove the lemon. And I'm going to plate the salmon right on top of our warm kale salad. And And then I'm gonna take some of our balsamic vinaigrette, so it's looking just like this. And like I said, you can add some nice avocado on top. Asparagus spears are also a great vegetable option to add into your warm salad. And I'm going to take just a couple of spoonfuls of the balsamic and drizzle that right on top. Perfect, just like that. So here is our completed salad. Looks delicious. You can obviously add more dressing if you would like, or you can keep your dressing on the side. I love adding mine right on top, and I am definitely generous with my dressing. Now that that's finished, let's check on our quiche. I'll show you a finished product quiche that I finished earlier. So here is what the quiche will come out looking like. This is a great option for breakfast. You can cut it into little slices. It will save in the fridge for about a week. It's very nutrient dense, it's protein heavy, keeps blood sugar nice and stable. So this is a great option if you need a snack or are looking for ways to incorporate a good bunch of fertility boosting foods into an easy meal. So now that both of our meals are done, I'd like to pivot quickly and discuss the importance of food storage and how food storage such as plastic containers or tinfoil or saran wrap can really harm your health. So first let's talk about BPAs. BPA is a widely used compound in manufacturing polycarbonate plastics. These plastics are used in things like food and drink packaging, food storage containers, water bottles, baby bottles, etc. Human exposure to BPA is a public health concern because BPA has the ability to bind membrane and nuclear receptors that cause endocrine disruption, tumors, and adverse reproductive hormones, or outcomes rather. BPA has been shown to be associated with impaired reproductive function in men and women, and substantial evidence demonstrates that BPA is a reproductive toxin in humans. So how can you avoid using, or how can you limit your exposure to some of the BPA? Because some of it is unavoidable, especially because they're environmental toxins. But how can you in your kitchen reduce the amount of BPA that you're exposed to? So first and foremost, I recommend getting rid of any kind of plastic Tupperware. If you must use plastic Tupperware, that's the only option that's available to you, or you have economic restraints, make sure that when you add food into your plastic containers that it's not hot, and really try to avoid fatty foods or foods that are high in oil, as the oil can really leach out some of the BPA into the product. The other thing I would say is never reheat your food in the plastic Tupperware, and use glass whenever you can, both for food storage and for cooking. The other thing that I highly recommend is getting some things like food grade 100% silicone bags. These are reusable bags versus using things like Ziploc bags. These are going to be a much healthier option, both for fertility and just overall health. You can get these at places like Whole Foods, Amazon, Trader Joe's. Most local grocery stores now will have some sort of silicone container. Just make sure that you're looking for 100% food grade silicone. These are a great option though. Most of them are dishwasher safe. So just make sure to read the label and use what works for you. These come in all shapes and sizes and can be a great option to incorporate into your home storage. The last thing I'll touch on is parchment paper. So instead of things like tinfoil or aluminum baking sheets, which can really be problematic to fertility, I highly recommend using parchment paper whenever you need to use foil, or to go underneath your food if you're using an aluminum baking sheet. So there's a lot of different types of parchment paper. I really like to use the unbleached paper. And some of them are very convenient where they're already like pre-cut for you into these sheets. And so it's super easy to lay down on your baking sheet or wrap your food and then use the aluminum that's needed. So we have covered different fertility boosting foods today and 2 recipes that are jam-packed for fertility benefits. If you would like to learn more about how you can use nutrition to boost your fertility and other things that you can be doing to reduce environmental toxins, there are 3 books that I highly recommend. The first book is called It Starts With an Egg by Rebecca Fett. The second book is It Starts With the Egg Fertility Cookbook. Those 2 go together. They're written by the same author, Rebecca Fett. And the third book is Real Food for Pregnancy by Lily Nichols. Although this book focuses more on post-conception once you're actually pregnant, there's a lot of great information, particularly on environmental toxins and some foods that are going to not only benefit pregnancy, but also fertility. So highly recommend those 3 books. Thank you again for taking the time to join me today. If you have any questions, we'll address them here in a moment. But I really hope you enjoyed the recipes and learned something new. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me if you have any questions. I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the kitchen soon.